What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin, and welcome to my recap of the Monday night matchup between the Indianapolis Colts and the Carolina Panthers. Now, I'm a bit late on this, but there was some interesting things that I wanted to talk about. I guess some bad things that reared its ugly head with both teams, and I guess something that's been affecting the Colts for most of the season, but something that people overlook with the Panthers. You know, despite them having the 7-0 record, that I'm willing to point out. Quickly, I'm gonna get to the stats. I always start with the team that's not the Carolina Panthers. Indianapolis Colts, Andrew Luck, 23 of 47, 231 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. Now, for the most part, he didn't play well. He had majority of his yards and his 2 touchdowns in the last 7 minutes and 11 seconds. Before that, he only had, let me see exactly, he only had 40 yards passing. At halftime, he was 4 of 10 for 37 and a pick. So, to me, it was not only the weather for both these quarterbacks. A lot of throws that were missed, and both secondaries I thought played really well. And combine that with the weather, it was difficult to make some of those throws. But these guys were missing some of them. To just be honest, looking at that game, these guys were missing guys that were open. There were some drops, but they were missing guys. From the rushing standpoint, Frank Gore 22 carries 7 yards, Andrew Luck 6 carries 35, and Amar Bradshaw 7 carries for 31. So running back by committee, I thought they did a really good job. They had 35 attempts. I thought they did pretty good in terms of the rushing game. And when the weather's like that, you're gonna have to run the ball. Both these teams ran the ball. Let's see, the Colts ran at 35, Panthers ran at 36. So you're gonna see a lot of rushes because they didn't want to put the ball in the air with the rain and all. Receiving, Andre Johnson 4 receptions, 81 yards and a touchdown. Griff Wallen 5 receptions, 48. Kobe Fleener 7 receptions, 43 and a touchdown. Frank Gore 3 receptions, 22. Dante Moncrief 2 receptions, 18. T.Y. Hilton 1 reception, 15, and Dwayne Allen 1 reception for 4. Expect a little bit more out of T.Y. Hilton, man. Defensively for the Colts, I thought they played pretty good. Like as I said, the secondary played good. They did an okay job against the run, but I think it's more so the secondary. Guys weren't open with Cam Newton. There was some drops with some of the Carolina receivers, but a lot of times, just great coverage. It was just really good coverage, and I thought that secondary looked really good. For the most part, they weren't missing a bunch of tackles, because that's been an issue that's been plaguing the team. But I thought they did a much better job. Overall, it was just the offense didn't help them with the 4 turnovers. Going over to Carolina, Cam Newton 16 of 35, 248 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Cam is a similar situation. Played terrible in the first half. He ended the first half 6 of 17, 88 yards and an INT. Not very good. And he got majority of. He had 2 of his touchdowns in the third quarter. And if you remember in the fourth, Ted Ginn, this was in overtime actually. Ted Ginn, wide open, walk-in touchdown, perfect throw, drop. Some of these receivers not catching all these passes, and a guy like Devin Funchess has not been very reliable. He dropped way too many passes. Rushing, Jonathan Stewart 24 carries, 82 yards and a touchdown. I think he's been playing much better. You go back and look at that Seattle game. He played really good. Numbers weren't really great, but if you look at all the tackles that he broke in that game, yeah. Cam Newton 10 carries and 41. The running game has gotten better since with Cam Newton run the ball, or you read option. He got the hand of the Stewart, or he can run. And Cam Newton's he's a big quarterback. So you saw in this game he's running through linebackers. That is I think that's what they're gonna hang their hat on, seeing receivers aren't that great, and Cam is a little bit too inconsistent with his passing. With his throwing of the ball, has been a little bit too inconsistent. Ball has been sailing over the receivers, or the receivers haven't been good. Greg Olsen has been the one constant, and that's what a lot of people expected. Sorry, I was looking at my mic. Corey Brown, one carry for 14. Fozzie Whitaker, one carry for 3. From receiving, Greg Olsen, 6 receptions, 79 and a touchdown. Ted Ginn, 2 receptions for 60. Corey Brown, 3 receptions, 42 and a touchdown. Mike Tolbert, 1 reception, 40. Jericho Cotchery, 2 receptions for 18. Devin Funches, 1 reception for 8. And Jonathan Stewart, 1 reception for 1 yard. Ted Ginn, like I said, the drop pass that would have pretty much iced the game. He dropped that. Defensively, Luke Kuechly was a beast in terms of the run defense. The one issue with Kuechly is, I think he's an amazing player. He does have issues with coverage. Sometimes he gets the luck of the whistle where he doesn't get called for it. A lot of times he's either holding or pass interference. Coverage, I think, is his weak point. He's not really, really bad at it, but compared to the other things that he does well, he didn't. It's just not as good. Roman Harper made some plays in this game. Surprisingly, he had 12 tackles. He had pretty much the interception that led to the game-winning drive in overtime. Where he tipped the pass, and it was intercepted by Luke Kuechly. Up front, I thought first half they played good. They were able to get some pressure, but it was in that fourth quarter, the last 7 minutes, 11 seconds, no pass rush whatsoever. They had to send blitzes, they had to send linebackers, they had to send safeties, they had to send corners to put some more pressure, because at that point Andrew Luck was able to survey the field, had a bunch of time, and as well as that secondary play, Josh Norman, Ben Wickery, even Roman Harper, like I said, made some plays. Peanut Tillman, he had Andrew Luck's first interception. Outside of that, you're not getting any pressure on the quarterback with your front four. You got to send blitzes, because I don't care how good your secondary is, they cannot cover receivers forever. Especially when your quarterback is just sitting down and looking, and you're gonna these corners, these safeties are gonna lose their guys. They're gonna lose their guys, and the quarterback's gonna find them. Someone like Andrew Luck, we saw that at the end of the game. And I think that's an issue with them. It's also an issue with depth, and that's something looking ahead with their depth. No, K'Wan Short, Dewan Edwards got hurt in this game, I believe. You still got K'Wan Short, you got Starlo Tulele, but Charles Johnson, no Mario Addison. Coney Ely was a guy who was playing terrible before this game. I think he had a better game. And Jared Allen, I thought, made some plays. He made some plays last week, mainly at the end of the game, but he's an older player. So that depth is kind of hurting. We got to see what Dewan Edwards, we got to see what the injury is with him, because he's been one of the better linemen this year. Of course, we want Charles Johnson back, we want Mario Addison back. They potentially have a lot of depth in that front four, but not in this game, as you saw it really slow down as the Colts went into that hurry up. Total, let me see, team stats. Let me check that. Total yards about the same. Colts 359, Carolina 379. Most of it came in the second half, and for the Colts, most of it came in the fourth quarter. Third down efficiency, Carolina 4-16, and the Colts 6-18. Terrible. But like I said, both teams, for the most part, they were terrible. Their offenses were not that good. Let me see, penalties. Carolina 6 penalties, 55 yards. Colts 2 for 15. So penalties definitely hurt Carolina. Not as much, seeing as the Colts had 4 turnovers, but Carolina countered that by having 3 turnovers. Let me see, 2 fumbles. I think one was a fumble by Cam Newton, and the other was a pick by Cam Newton. And the Colts, 1 fumble. That was on the second play of the game, where the center completely botched the snap to Andrew Luck. And he had 3 interceptions. One to Peanut Tillman, the other to I can't remember exactly who it was. It was a safety. It wasn't Roman Harper. And the last one, which pretty much iced the game. Honestly, they should have. If Luke Kuechly catches that, he really got lucky because that was a throw straight to Luke Kuechly, but he didn't catch it. But he ended up turning the ball over to with the play made by Roman Harper to Luke Kuechly, which led to the game-winning field goal in overtime. Time of possession. The Colts 35 minutes 58, which most of that came second half when they got some longer drives. To Carolina's 33 minutes 40 seconds. It's really close, and with teams turning the ball over, it really stalled some drives. So like I said, we already pointed out the issues with these teams. The Panthers depth in that front four and receivers. These guys, Funches hasn't been good. Ted Ginn, guy that can get open, but he's inconsistent with his hands. You don't try to catch the. He tried to catch the ball on that play that he dropped the sure touchdown. Try to catch the ball with your body in wet conditions when you got gloves on. Greg Olsen is the one reliable guy, honestly. That in the run game, Jonathan Stewart's played better. Cam Newton's ability to run. Tolbert, I think they're gonna hang their hat on those 3 guys, and the threat of is mainly the threat of Cam Newton. And Jonathan Stewart's a guy who wears teams down throughout the game. And I think the offensive line, run blocking, has played better. Hell, blocking in general, they've played better. I think they've done a much better job protecting Cam Newton. And I thought that would have been an issue coming in, but it really hasn't. And the Colts just playing the entire game, man. They got the talent. Andrew Luck's a beast. You got a veteran Andre Johnson, T.Y. Hilton. You got Amar Bradshaw. You got Frank Gore. They have issues with offensive line, but not necessarily in this game, especially when they started to speed the offense up. It's just playing the entire game, man. Playing the entire game. They just haven't done it. They do a good job of getting out of these holes, but you just can't play that way. You can't play that way when you're in a desperation all the time. But they still probably win that division. Division not very good. Looking ahead, Panthers play the Green Bay Packers. Definitely a tough test against Aaron Rodgers. They're gonna have to be able to get pressure. And the Colts play. Let me make sure. See who the Colts play. I have to look at the schedule. The Colts play Denver. They're looking at that defense. And we saw that defense against Green Bay, and they made Aaron Rodgers look average. So it's definitely two big tests for both teams. That pretty much does it for this video. I will have a video where mid-season awards, who I think the favorites at this point for some of these awards, DPOY, MVP. I will do a video probably today or tomorrow about that. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe. Thanks for watching.